adopting the concept of burping the house throughout the day.
Love the fresh air that it's bringing, but we also don't have screens on our windows, so the bugs be flying. But let me tell you, getting the airflow in the house is worth it. Look at that, everybody. New month, same coffee. It's been a very cold and rainy start to June, might I add. We were just having the most lush weather for such a long time, and this entire week is just rainy and dreary and chilly, and I've got my jackets pulled back out. I was like, whoa, okay, summer, what happened to you? That is empty. Yeah, if it's cold outside, I like my warm coffee. If it's a toasty summer day, I shall have my iced coffee. I'm not gonna lie to you, I've actually already had my breakfast this morning, so just now. I needed to prepare my coffee before I talk to you. I don't have a brain without caffeine. The protein coffee. Oh, and that's the garbage. You know, a win is a win. When you don't miss garbage day, that is a good day, my friends. But I need to actually bring my coffee upstairs and have a chat with you up here because I need to get my ish together this morning because I've got a call in 20 minutes. How does this always happen? I'm just a girl sitting here wondering if I can get one more day out of this hair. Oh, what is on my face? Have I been talking to you like this the entire time? That's perfect. You know when you wash and do your hair and you just haven't done anything? I'm like, this hair hasn't seen the outside, so it doesn't count yet. So even though it could certainly be a hair wash day, I'm like, this hair didn't see the light of day. It hasn't left the house, so technically we could get another day out of it, right? Right? Oh. I've got to be honest with you, I'm having another little bout of my stage fright. As I always do, it's the same every year, and you would think that after 10 years, I would have figured it out by now, but no matter what, without fail, every time I do an everyday May or a Landmas, I always have a bit of stage fright coming back, and especially from this time around where my last video, I'm sorry, did you see my last video? It's kind of nice to like take a moment to reflect and to look back. I was sobbing my face off, continue to sob my face off, very much so following the video, and every time I open the comments, you guys, you were just, oh, you were so sweet to me. I couldn't believe the messages and the comments that you were leaving on that video and sending me afterwards, and I just, like, it kind of like, in the best way, I don't know how else to describe this, but in the best way, it kind of sends me into paralysis. I get like happy overwhelm where, you know, there's just so much emotion that I kind of just combust a little bit, and so that's how I've been for a couple of days following this video. But obviously just wanted to say thank you because, oh my goodness, like what a way to end the 10th year of Everyday May, and just on such a happy note. I'm like, well, what now? What do I film now? I'm like, I'm still at home. I'm still here. Still in my slime, clearly. Yeah. I suppose there's nothing for us to do other than to continue as we were. So I just thought I would just, you know, thank you. Thank you, truly, from the bottom of my heart. You best believe my plaque is up on the shelf. I'll show you guys that. And I've just been having a lovely little week off, which technically, this is actually what I wanted to talk to you about today, because I just posted a story on Instagram talking about this and the idea of rest or lack of rest that we take, or just like the seemingly lost art of rest in our life and our world, this like hyper productive, hyper over optimized world that we've been living in. Like resting and shutting off seems to be an impossible task. I've got no updates on the vanity front, I'm afraid. I'm still just doing my makeup in this pile in your setup here with me. But yeah, so going back to the end of Everyday May, basically that weekend. Last weekend, I had my yoga course, and it was the final 2 days of Everyday May, which was just like, honestly, at the time, I was kind of having a little combusting. I was so excited to post that last video, and like the whole Millie Selly video was one that we'd, you know, had on our minds for a long time of just like, how are we gonna film this video? We originally were going to do some like great production and just like go through and share like all the old videos video clips and kind of just do like a cinematic roll throughout the years and then like have a little chat about it. And then we thought about doing something else where it was like a follow me around and like go through all the memory boxes and like pick up specific things. And it all just like, both Dan and I were just like so stressed about how we were gonna film it. And I'm like, I just like wanted to say thank you. Like that was pretty much it. Like have a little walk down memory lane and say thank you. But all to say, it doesn't matter. The back and forth on that doesn't matter. All to say, it was just like, I was feeling very stressed. Like it's always our busiest month. Canceled a couple trips. It's still just like all hands on deck for Dan and I for the month of May. And we usually, honestly, I think almost every year we've always taken a trip. We always kind of like go away and take a little break and like shut off and unwind. And if you guys were all caught up on the vlogs, like you'll know that we got a really exciting opportunity and I was actually getting on a plane, but not to go on vacay, but I was going to LA with Lululemon, which I'm so excited about. But I wasn't able to like post anything or show anything, but I was so excited and also like really nervous and kind of like stressed about that too, where I'm like, what? Okay, I'm gonna go do a shoot with Lululemon. Like this is crazy. Like still all hands on deck. Like it didn't stop. Like you have our usual pause after. And then it was so exciting, so fun. Like the Lululemon team was amazing. We had a blast and we got home and just like the last couple days, like the last 3 days since we've been home have kind of just been like, I've been having a little crisis if I'm completely honest. And based on the response from you guys, from my little story that I posted on Instagram, you guys are having a little crises too. And that's the lack of ability to shut off and rest and fully recover. And I did talk about this in my like New Year's goals at the start of the year where I'm like, I just need to like focus more on recovery, focus more on sleep. Like I know that's my missing element. My mind doesn't shut off. Like there's so many things that I know so many of us could benefit from, and like putting a little bit more focus into being a little bit softer on ourselves. And especially because in our society, everything is built on more, be productive, like do the most. One job isn't enough. You need 5 jobs, like have 17 side hustles and, you know, make $1 million and then make another million. Like it's never enough. The goalpost is always moving and the kind of like hustle culture can be all encompassing. And over the last few days, like just being at home, I found it really impossible to shut off for a multitude of reasons, but mostly because it's that really intense guilt of this hustle culture just seeping in so strongly. Like I think I have a lot of guilt too, because I think that on the scale of jobs and like difficult jobs, crazy jobs in the world, I am very, very lucky and very blessed to be doing the job that I'm doing, and I never take it for granted. I am always so grateful. And because one could possibly consider it a more fun job or career path to be on, I think that guilt is like really extra strong, where I'm like, the act of like rest and shutting off almost seems like it should be forbidden, where it's like, what do you mean? Of course I could like turn my camera on and vlog today, and of course I can hop on a call today, and of course I can answer my emails today. Like a true day off, Dan and I were actually talking about this, like a true guilt-free day off. The only time that we can think of that we've ever done that was technically on our honeymoon, and we had a full week where we like shut our phones off, like said see you later. I think I might have posted like a few stories on Instagram when we were like going for strolls and whatnot, but like that full week we like truly shut off. All we did was sleep. We slept all day long. We were having like naps every other hour. Like it was crazy. I had never rested like that in my adult life. Like for as long as I can remember, that had never happened. And it's also never happened since, where even if I do have a more lazy day or like a lazy morning or a lazy afternoon, like it's kind of riddled with guilt of like, I'm only doing this because I am procrastinating what I should be doing. Like it's never been a guilt-free shut off time. So I thought that was interesting, because I know I'm not alone with that. And so many of you feel the same way, where it's kind of this interesting thing, like outside of your work, to take time off. That time actually still seems to be filled with so many other activities. Like I know for me, I kept saying that following Everyday May, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm just so excited to, you know, take a couple days to like deep clean the house. It was like, it wasn't excited to relax and shut off. I was excited to like tackle all of the things in my home and my life that I had been putting off doing these other tasks and things in my life. My house was a disaster. Landscaping was a disaster. Like we had to get out there and weed. We have so many like little house things that have been left undone. We had bought this like cutie little coat rack and, you know, finally hung it up. And it's not that these things are like mentally taxing in a sense, it's not like heavily labor intensive. It's just kind of this idea that like our leisure time right now is filled with a still never ending task list or a to-do list. And it doesn't feel like true free leisure time. And the time that I used to kind of fill, you know, when you get into like a really good book and you'll just lay there in bed for like 3 hours crushing this book. It's not because like, I don't do that with like freedom. Do you know what I mean? I do that with I really shouldn't read another chapter, but like I'm gonna read another chapter, and I'm just, you know, okay, these emails. I didn't put concealer on. I just oh well, a concealer free day, I guess. LOL. You know, it's almost like I'm doing these things to be putting off the other thing that I should be doing. It's never guilt free. So I just found that really interesting, and therefore I went and asked you guys kind of how you felt and if you had any true ways that you love to like really shut off and unwind, and if you kind of shared the similar feelings as me. And I thought that we could explore the responses together. And we're gonna do that after my call. Good morning.
Morning.
How are you?
I'm good. You look so bronzy. Is
Wow.
that makeup or real tan?
Thank you so much. It's absolutely a fake tan. I just hopped off the call. I'm having some heart palpitations about it. It's never a dull moment over here. I've just got to say, you never know what news you're going to receive on a fine morning. But I would just like to point out the new addition to the shelf. No, it's still not over it. Still not over it. It's been so rainy and windy today, but it's just like coming in and out. So we're getting little spurts of sunshine, but I don't know if the wind is going to prevent me from having a little chat with you. We were doing a little bit of a cleanup out here, doing some weeding, taking care of the garden, spraying down the sunbeds because the spiders decided to make them their home in a big way, like in a crazy big way. But it's just looking so lush out here. I'm just so thrilled. So while this little spurt of sunshine is here, let's just take a moment to bask in it, shall we? So from your responses on Instagram, there were a few kind of like common denominators and common threads. One being to get outside and to enjoy nature. Breathing in the fresh air, being outside, literally, like as they say, go outside and touch grass, you know? Go hug a tree, go for a walk. Bask in the glory that is Mother Nature, and that's always like a really nice restful moment. And I'd say that like gardening has become that for me, even though I would also consider that like a task that now has to be done. Like I wouldn't say that I enjoy weeding. It is a chore, you know, but being outside, getting some fresh air, absolutely. Maybe on this day having this chat isn't, I think it's too windy for us to talk. I'm sorry, Meryl. I think we have to go back inside. We'll have to have a chat in nature another day. But for now, you can appreciate the freshly mowed lawn. Yes, Meryl, you followed us right in here. Right in here onto the couch. Sorry, this is much better. No end, but just meows. Yes, tell them. How do you like to rest and relax, Meryl? She's like, that's all I do. All I do is sleep all day and scream all night. Now, speaking of getting outside and being in nature and going for a walk, a lot of you suggested like going for walks, going for hikes, going and having beach days. And the one thing that I found interesting, and that has kind of been historically true for me and in the world and like with friends and family, is rest and recovery is kind of always put in the same category as like the removal of exercise. Like it's kind of funny where when I started doing the program and when I started getting onto my own like health and fitness journey, I would have never considered working out on a vacation. Like in my mind, vacation was like a break from everything, and going on vacation truly meant like laying out, relaxing, resting, doing nothing, including my workouts. That is definitely not the case for me anymore. I certainly feel better no matter what if I am getting up and moving my body, and being like too still and too sedentary, it doesn't feel good. It feels good to like get out and move. So even though it's not technically resting, really like leisurely strolling, getting some steps, going for a walk in nature, going to the park, like that is something that I would still personally lump together in resting and recovery, even though I've seen a few videos on TikTok of people talking about like a rest day does not include getting 10K steps, which is so funny. But even like going for a little bike ride, going for a rollerblade, like these little activities that you enjoy. Even for me, like tennis is a hobby. It's something I enjoy. So if I were to dream of like my ideal day off, it'd still be starting my day with some kind of movement and activity. So it kind of just depends on what your activity levels are, but certainly I feel better for moving my body and getting it lubed up and rolling and ready to go. But it was just interesting seeing a lot of that in the responses, people being like, no, I lay in bed, I bed rot. But my argument to that is kind of like bed rot can feel so good. And I think that a lot of the time I have a bed rot day if I like haven't rested at all and I'm like exhausted and burnt out. And it usually ends up in me crashing and having a full bed rot day. I would say I'm aligned with like a bed rot morning or a bed rot night. Like if I wanted to sleep. So sorry, the door just went crazy. Hold please. What were we saying? Yeah, I would love a sleep in. Like this morning, for example, I had a lovely, lovely sleep in. Or if I wanted to spend like an afternoon or an evening just like totally rotting in bed, watching like 6 episodes straight of a TV show or having a nice movie night, like that's so great. Just like generally being able to shut your brain off and watching some good old TV or taking in some good entertainment. I feel like that's like one of my favorite ways to rest and relax, even though so many people say like no screen time, shut off the screens, which was another whole category. It was like, how are we resting and recovering? We are shutting the screens off. We are removing social media, phones away, do not disturb. That was another one of the most like common responses that I got. And I would so have to agree. And I revert back to my honeymoon statement where removing the doom scroll, like that can just bring so much peace and kind of silence in your brain. And also it's almost like buying back time, because I feel like whenever I'm doom scrolling, the time just flies by and I'm like, oh my gosh, where did the last hour or two of my life go? Whereas if you're like very present, being present in the moment and off of a screen just makes time kind of tick by a little bit slowly. You appreciate and notice a little bit more. You just like notice the time passing by a little bit more, and that's kind of nice. Just, yeah, the idea of being present is always a very, very common one. And the other most common response was to do something physically with your hands to kind of keep yourself busy, which again is so funny to me, where even when we're supposed to be resting, we don't like to sit idle. Like we love to be entertained. We love to be doing something. So whether that's doing something with our mind, if we're watching something, being entertained, or we're reading a book, or physically doing something that's a little bit mind numbing, like gardening, or a lot of you had said that you love to knit and crochet and, you know, have some kind of like physical hobby, or do a puzzle, or play some board games. It's funny how that technically still involves a lot of thinking and thought. Like if you're playing a game, it's like your brain is on, it's strategy, it's whatever. But I think the overarching idea is that all it boils down to is doing something that you enjoy and that you're not forced to do. Like that can be something that's physical, that can be something that might be a little bit sweat inducing, like going for a walk, a hike, or gardening, or still something that uses your mind, but it's like using a different part of your brain. It's something that you enjoy. It's letting those positive endorphins fly, and it's just like it's removing the stress. And what I think is so interesting about this, and what I was chatting with Dan about, is that for whatever reason, we're so able to do that if we are on vacation. Like the few times where we have gone to Mexico, let's say, and we book an all-inclusive vacation, like literally phones are off, emails are off, do not disturb is absolutely applied. We're not doing anything except laying down in the sunshine next to a body of water. How many books can I read and get through? I'm not thinking about anything else. Like my brain is off. We are so relaxed, stress-free. It's beautiful. You're in this like blissful little vacation bubble. But applying that same principle to when you're at home seems like an impossible feat. That's where the guilt rolls in. That's where you kind of get stressed about the to-do lists and things. Like I can sit here in my house right now and be like, okay, I'm gonna relax for the evening. But also I could catch up on my chores. I could look at all these to-do lists that have been piling up. What things can I get done? Can I put the laundry on? Can I go and deep clean a section of the house, deep clean the room, vacuum and mop the floors? Like the list goes on. So I kind of sit here, and even though I'm trying to relax, I'm just thinking about everything that I have to do. So I don't know how to shut off in the same way when I'm at home, when the lists and to-do lists of adulthood are just like always remaining. And that's where the whole element of like romanticize your life and make these small little chores and to-do lists like an enjoyable part of the day, where it's like, okay, today's a cleaning day, but we're gonna blast music. Maybe we'll take little fun breaks. Maybe we'll choose a time to have a hard stop, and then after that it's just mossing. We're just laying, watching a show, playing a board game, what have you. Yeah, it's just kind of, it feels different when you're trying to do that at home. It just doesn't hit the same as a true vacay, you know? So what are we gonna do? How are we gonna incorporate some more of this peaceful life, peaceful living, true rest. What does that mean? I think you just have to determine what that means for you. What are the things that you enjoy? What are some new hobbies that you can pick up? And what can you do to shut your brain off? I think following this conversation and this kind of moment of reflection that I've had over the last week of having our break after Everyday May is that I really do need to reassess my Bloom situation. I think I need to adjust the hours of my app blocking, because that's been so helpful to really just not be wasting so much time mindlessly, numbingly scrolling on my phone. The amount of hours of life that has just caused to leave the building is so sad to think about, truly. So I think I'm going to make my hours a little bit longer, give myself some more time in the mornings. And as far as like daily stress and daily recovery, I think just really like it's sleep. Really reassessing and reprioritizing the daily schedule, because just focusing on being a more rested and sleep-filled individual overall would just help every corner of my life. Therefore, I'm assuming it could help many of your lives. I know that everyone's schedules are different and demands are different and hours in a day are different and have to be applied to so many different things. But I do have the option to sleep more if I would just, play less tennis and shift my mornings accordingly. The issue for me is just the drive. It's that we don't live anywhere near it. It's trying to avoid traffic. That's why we wake up so early to go drive and play tennis, because if we don't, then we're driving for so long and it's so annoying. So maybe like my most peaceful solution to more enjoyment in life and having more rest and recovery would be to stop being a morning tennis girl and maybe consider being an evening tennis gal, especially during the summer months where we have so much longer in the evening. Like that time spent perhaps sleeping in the morning would probably bring me so much peace. But that's, something we got to consider. The other thing would be to do more. I know that's kind of opposite to what we're talking about. It's like we're talking about resting and doing less. But when I say do more, I mean do more outside of my work and home bubble. Because your girl really doesn't do a whole lot at all. There could certainly be a lot more efforts put into getting outside and doing more daytime activities. Like going to the beach, going to the lake, going for a hike, all of these things. Like we have so much access to so much. It does require a drive and a little bit more planning, but I certainly haven't done much of that. And those could be fitting into so many of these buckets where having a sweet little beach day, getting outside, being in nature more, just allows you to shut off from this internet, World Wide Web world and immerse yourself in nature and feel a little bit more connected. And that also probably includes spending more time with friends and being out in your community. And I think that's just what we all crave a little bit more of. The other thing I'd like to mention in this little podcast-esque blab is just a friendly reminder that we also need to shut off a lot of the noise and kind of take all of this information in and like be curious and be open to learning new things and experiencing new things and trying new hobbies and getting outside more and being in the community and in the real world. But at the same time, it's also that's where it's really hard, especially nowadays, to not fall like so far over it, where that's where I find that the negativity can start to trickle in, where it's like, okay, we're not doing enough. Okay, our hobbies aren't widespread enough. That's where the whole like, are we boring conversation pulls in, because even when you think about, or if you're like being honest with yourself, being like, what do I really love to do? What activities do I love to do that really help me to feel like I'm rested and like I'm shutting my brain off, and what are the things that I enjoy? And for me, like, again, I'll bring up gaming until the end of time, because I have spent like thousands of hours of my life playing PlayStation games, playing my Pokemon Game Boy games, like no problem, on repeat. You give me a new Pokemon game, you will lose me for a solid week. You give me a new reset PlayStation 2 Kingdom Hearts game, goodbye, you won't see me for at least 10 calendar days. When I got the new Hogwarts Legacy game a few years back, baby, see you later. That was my entire Christmas. Like I was locked in the basement, enjoying beautiful, like that's some heavy screen time, but you best believe this brain is off and I am out of the world and totally resting, recovered. I come back feeling like so good, so ready to take on my to-do list. And then the same with books. Like you have so many people. I think even the last time I talked about this, someone was like, yeah, this is so terrible. You're reading books for children. Like you need to read something smarter. I'm like, also, not every person has to, you know, become a philosopher or strive to be so. We don't constantly have to be learning. Sometimes we can just enjoy sweet, simple things, and not all of us strive to be like everything and the coolest, most unique, mysterious creature who's just like, oh, you know, like a perfect example for me is Dua Lipa. Like Dua Lipa is one of those people where I'm like, you really are the it girl. You do everything. She's got like such a diverse taste and like well-rounded life, including everything. Like she just reads all the smart books and is so, I'm sure her and Callum have these beautiful like thought-provoking conversations all the time, and they're just so deep and so philosophical and just like covering so much ground, and that can be so nice and it's amazing and something beautiful to strive for, but also recognize that's not for everybody. Not everybody's gonna be the it girly Dua Lipa, okay? Some of us just have more simple taste, and that's just that. Do I love castles? Yes. Do I love basking in them? And that's like my perfect idea of a vacation? Yes, but it doesn't mean that I'm like so knowledgeable in every single part of it and all of the like world history and art history and fashion history and just like everything it's so all encompassing, and you could dive so hard into so many different things, and it's just like, you get what I'm saying? Sometimes it can err on the side of overwhelm. So just like be open, but also if we're talking about finding peace, you're also allowed to stay in your lane. Simple creatures unite. Not that you didn't have enough of my blabs and home chats over the entire month of Everyday May, but I just felt like that was something that had really been coming up for me in a big way in this last week, and just this lack of ability to rest in a guilt-free way. And I just wanted to thank you guys so much for all of your messages and kind of thoughts on that on Instagram. And I think it would be kind of fun going into the summer to really try and implement this and practice like a soft girl summer, and practice some of these ways of having meaningful rest and really embracing that and getting outside. And you know, I will happily document that. I'm going to try and put a lot more of that into the vlog. So I'd love to hear your guys' suggestions. If there's anything that you want to see or any specific activities or things that we can do together, I'd love to hear. And I actually just wanted to say one of the messages that Audrey L sent in those Instagram responses, she said, "Girl, lay next to a body of water and eat a piece of fresh fruit. You're a human being, not a human doing." And that just really sat with me. I sent her a video in response being like, girl, wow, you really hit me with that one. That was a good one. Just allowing yourself to exist and to be, and to just stop feeling like you have to enter the rat race at every second of every day. And yeah, like honestly, I was really hoping for some better weather, because I would have loved to like go out in the world and like do this with you today, but the weather was not on our side. So today we're just talking about it, but you best believe that like I'm gonna be laying out, basking in the garden, basking in the mother nature, eating those fresh summer cherries as they're back in season. Later in the summer, getting some Okanagan peaches, and yeah, certainly diving into some bodies of water this summer, because I think that's just it's a gorgeous way to unwind and feel some peace. And on that note, I think it's very important that we get back into a reading schedule, because, oh, baby, I've been scrolling. I really have. And there's so many books that I've bought that I haven't read. It's actually disgusting. I really tried. I really tried. Susie had even posted her book club and was like, we're reading Crescent City. And I tried. I was like, okay, I'm going to do it. I'm going to lock in. Guys, I could not get past like page 4. I fell asleep every time, which is great for my sleep schedule. Okay, no complaints there. But oh man, I just like haven't gotten into a good book. I just kept going back and rereading things. I tried reading The Nightingale. I couldn't get into it. Also, another incomplete book, 100 Years of Solitude. I just like, Crescent City. Like none of these books have just like gripped me and kept me reading. I know that's terrible, but I don't know what to say. We've been struggling out here. Here's another series I bought. His Majesty's Dragon. Maybe I'll try that tonight. I'll report back. I bought a set of 2 of these, so maybe that's a series we can start tonight. And that's going to be our official start of finding some peace and shutting our brain off and getting back into a reading schedule, because it does make such a difference. Also, there's no better feeling than just diving into a good book and being completely immersed into a separate world. It's just a magical feeling, and I really feel for people who aren't readers. Sometimes movies and TV shows just don't do it justice. You need a book. 9 times out of 10, the book is always better than the movie. That's just facts. Sosie, also please let me know what's on your summer reading list. Would love to know. and with that, fam, just wanted to say hello. I hope you're all having a beautiful start to your summer. Thank you so much again for all of the love during Everyday May. And on that final video, I have been absolutely overwhelmed with so much love. And I'm so looking forward to just having a fabulous and peaceful summer with you all. And I'll see you all so soon for a new video. Thanks for watching. Bye!